The moment you make a real decision, everything changes. I'm not talking about wishing. I'm not talking about hoping. I'm not talking about saying, I'll try. A true decision is when you cut off every other option. It is when you say to yourself with absolute conviction, I will not be stopped. That kind of decision carries a power most people never tap into, because most people live their lives on the surface, moving with the tides of circumstance, waiting to see what happens before they commit. But when you make a genuine decision, you are not waiting on the world anymore. The world begins to wait on you. You shift from being a reactor of life to being the creator of life. And that is where the unstoppable spirit is born. Think about it. Every major shift in your life began with a decision. The decision to get up after you've been knocked down. The decision to go after a goal even though it scares you. The decision to let go of the old and step into the new. Decisions to spark the ignition point. The moment when your energy begins to organize itself toward a definite end. You see, the moment you decide, truly decide, the universe moves in ways you can't yet see. Doors that were invisible begin to open. Resources you didn't know existed start to flow. People who can help you suddenly appear on your path. That's not coincidence. That's the alignment that comes from a mind made up. But here's the truth most people never decide. They think they do, but what they really make are preferences. I prefer to succeed. I'd like to have more money. I wish I had better health. Preferences don't carry power because preferences leave back doors open. A decision slams the door shut on everything except the thing you've chosen. And that's why the moment you decide that you will not be stopped, your life takes on a new trajectory. You no longer argue with yourself. You no longer waste energy doubting. You no longer linger in hesitation. You've given your mind one clear instruction, and your mind, when properly instructed, goes to work like a faithful servant. This is why so many people feel stuck. They never give themselves the clarity of a decision. They keep entertaining 2, 3, 4 different outcomes, switching back and forth, draining their energy. But when you decide, truly decide, you cut away the noise. You lock in. It's as if you plant a flag in the ground of your future and declare, this is where I'm going, this is who I'm becoming, this is what I'm doing, and nothing will move me. That certainty generates a power that goes far beyond willpower. Willpower burns out, but decision fuels you because it becomes part of your identity. It's no longer what you're trying to do, it's who you are. There's something magnetic about a person who has decided. You can feel it when they walk into a room. They don't even need to say much. Their presence communicates confidence. Why? Because they have settled the inner conflict. And once you've made a decision like that, the world responds differently to you. People sense your seriousness and they adjust. Opportunities seem to find you. Challenges don't disappear, but you confront them with a strength you never had before. All of it starts with decision. Now, some people will say, but what if I don't know how? What if I don't have the money, the resources, the connections? That's where decision becomes even more important, because the decision comes first, the how comes after. The resources are attracted to the decisiveness. You don't need to know every step. You only need to decide where you're going. Imagine someone standing at the base of a staircase, refusing to step until they see every stair. That's not how life works. You see the first stair and you take it. And when you do, the next stair reveals itself, but you won't see it until you move. Decision is that first step. It activates motion. When you say, I will not be stopped, you are giving yourself permission to burn the bridges behind you. You're saying retreat is no longer an option. That doesn't mean you won't face obstacles. You will. But obstacles become irrelevant in the face of decision. They are simply conditions to adjust to, not reasons to quit. Every person who has ever accomplished anything worthwhile started with that decision. History is filled with examples of individuals who had no logical reason to believe they could achieve their dream. No money, no support, no guarantees. But they had a decision, and that was enough. The truth is, you don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You don't need more chances. You need a decision. Because the moment you decide with absolute conviction, you begin to unlock capacities within yourself that have been dormant. You start thinking in new ways. You become creative, resourceful, resilient. It's not that the decision gives you these qualities. It's that the decision draws them out from within you. You already had them, but they were asleep, waiting for something strong enough to wake them up. Decision is the wake-up call. And when you really live from this place, you begin to notice a shift in how you interpret life. Things that used to discourage you no longer faze you because your mind is already made up. Disappointments don't break you. They instruct you. Delays don't weaken you. They prepare you. Because once you decide that you will not be stopped, you stop interpreting obstacles as signs that you should quit. Instead, you read them as part of the path, steps that are shaping you into the person you need to become to hold the success you desire. You can only rise as high as the image you hold of yourself allows. It does not matter how much potential you have, how much talent you carry, or how many opportunities come your way. If the picture in your mind is small, your results will remain small. Everything you do, everything you attract, and everything you accept in your life is filtered through the way you see yourself. That is why shifting your self-image is essential if you are to live unstoppable. You cannot think of yourself as weak, as unworthy, as limited, and expect to create abundance, strength, and greatness. The outside is nothing more than a reflection of the inside. And if you want to stop being stopped, The work begins with the picture you hold of you. Most people never examine the image they carry. It is shaped in childhood, molded by the words of parents, teachers, peers, and experiences, and then it gets cemented in place, almost like a silent program running in the background. That image determines how much money you think you deserve, how much love you will allow, how much success you're willing to reach for, and even how much happiness you feel comfortable experiencing. You may consciously say you want more, but if your self-image is not in harmony with that desire, you will sabotage yourself over and over until your results match the picture inside. You can't consistently outperform your self-image, and you can't escape it until you deliberately change it. The moment you decide to expand your self-image, everything begins to shift. Think of it like upgrading the operating system on your phone. Until you update it, you're limited by the old system's speed, capacity, and functions. But once you update, new features become available, everything works faster, and suddenly you're capable of more. Your mind is the same. If you hold a small image of yourself, you are operating on an outdated program, stuck in loops of fear, doubt, and hesitation. When you begin to see yourself as worthy, capable, powerful, and unstoppable, that new picture unlocks new behaviors. You begin to talk differently, move differently, decide differently. This is why affirmation, visualization, and self-talk are so powerful. Not because they magically change reality overnight, but because they reshape the inner image you hold. And once the inner image changes, your actions follow without force. If you see yourself as someone who follows through, who never quits, who is disciplined and resilient, you naturally begin to act in alignment with that identity. You don't have to push yourself constantly with willpower because you are no longer working against yourself. You are simply acting out who you believe you are. Think about it this way. If you imagine yourself as a runner, getting up at 5 a.m. to train isn't a struggle. It's just what runners do. If you see yourself as an entrepreneur, taking risks, solving problems, and working long hours isn't a chore. It's the natural expression of who you are. When your self-image is aligned with your goals, the resistance dissolves. But if your self-image is still tied to the old picture, someone lazy, someone who quits, someone who doesn't deserve success, then every action feels heavy, forced, and temporary. The old image always pulls you back down. That's why people start strong but fall back into old habits. The self-image hasn't changed. You must take control of this process consciously. Begin by asking yourself, how do I see myself right now? What is the story I keep telling myself about who I am? Pay attention to the words you use to describe yourself, because those words are windows into your self-image. Do you call yourself unlucky, unworthy, not good enough? Or do you declare yourself powerful, deserving, unstoppable? You cannot escape the truth of the picture you carry, but you can replace it. The key is repetition and emotion, impressing the new image into your subconscious with consistency until it becomes natural. Your environment also plays a role. Surround yourself with people who reflect the image you want to step into, not the one you are leaving behind. Every time you see evidence of someone else living powerfully, it reinforces that such an image is possible for you. Guard your mind from voices that keep you small, because those voices try to reinforce the old picture. To shift your self-image, you must feed your mind with examples, stories, and ideas that expand your sense of who you are. This process is not overnight. Just as the old image was formed over years, the new image requires repetition and belief. But once the shift happens, you will notice that opportunities that once intimidated you now excite you. Conversations that used to make you nervous now feel natural. Goals that once seemed impossible now appear inevitable. Nothing around you has changed yet, but because you see yourself differently, you interact with the world differently, and therefore the world responds differently to you. This is why people who truly transform their self-image become unstoppable. They stop negotiating with their old limitations. They stop doubting their worth. They stop entertaining the idea of failure as an identity. They begin to live from a higher frequency, one where they expect good things, where they expect growth, where they expect success. And because expectation is powerful, life begins to match their new picture. You are not limited by your circumstances, your background, or your past. You are limited only by the picture you hold of yourself in your own mind. When you expand that picture, when you deliberately see yourself as the person who cannot be stopped, you begin to attract situations, people, and opportunities that align with that unstoppable version of you. It is not about pretending or faking. It is about seeing the truth of who you really are, beyond the conditioning and beyond the fear. When resistance shows up, most people interpret it as a sign to slow down or even stop. But in reality, resistance is proof that you are moving in the right direction. If there were no resistance, it would mean you are staying inside the comfort zone, playing small, repeating the same cycles you've always known. Resistance only appears when you stretch, when you push into new territory, when you attempt something beyond what you've done before. And that is exactly why persistence is so critical. Persistence is the energy that allows you to keep moving forward when the natural forces of resistance try to hold you back. Without persistence, even the most talented, most gifted, most intelligent individuals fall short. With persistence, even those with no apparent advantages can accomplish extraordinary things because persistence wears resistance down every time. You see, resistance is not personal. It is not life trying to punish you, nor is it the universe conspiring against you. Resistance is simply the friction of growth, the natural pushback that occurs whenever you move beyond the boundaries of your old self. Just as a rocket faces the greatest resistance at the point of liftoff, so too do you face your greatest struggles when you are about to break free from your old patterns. The rocket doesn't turn around because of the pressure. It pushes through because on the other side of resistance is freedom. In the same way, your persistence is the fuel that propels you through the gravitational pull of your past habits, doubts, and fears. The challenge is that most people quit too early. They experience resistance. Things get hard, progress slows, unexpected setbacks arrive, and they tell themselves, maybe this isn't meant for me. They confuse difficulty with impossibility. They assume that because it's not smooth, it must not be right. But that mindset keeps them trapped. The truth is, anything worthwhile will test you. It will demand that you prove how badly you want it. Persistence is how you answer that demand. It is your declaration that no matter what shows up, you will keep going. Persistence is not about blindly forcing yourself through without thought. It's about adapting, learning, adjusting, and refusing to let resistance turn you backward. It's understanding that failure is not final. It's feedback. Each time you persist, you collect information, you gain strength, you sharpen your skills. Persistence is not static, it is dynamic. It doesn't mean doing the same wrong thing over and over. It means refusing to quit while finding new ways to win. Think of a stream of water hitting against a rock. The water does not stop. It does not quit. It does not complain that the rock is unfairly blocking its path. It simply keeps flowing. Over time, that persistence carves through the rock itself. That is the quiet power of persistence. It may not always look dramatic, but its results are undeniable. What once seemed unmovable eventually yields to steady, relentless effort. Your obstacles are no different. No matter how solid they appear, persistence will wear them down. Every person who has created something meaningful has had to persist through resistance. Great discoveries, inventions, businesses, movements, they all face moments when everything seemed against them. The difference between those who left a mark and those who faded away was not brilliance, luck, or connections. It was persistence. The willingness to keep showing up when others walked away. The decision to keep believing when evidence said otherwise. That is what makes someone unstoppable. And here's the paradox. Resistance actually strengthens you. Just as muscles only grow when they resist weight, your character only grows when it faces opposition. If life were smooth and effortless, you would remain weak and tested and unprepared for greater responsibilities. It is the friction, the obstacles, the delays, and the failures that mold you into someone capable of handling success without collapsing under its weight. Persistence transforms resistance into resilience. What once scared you becomes routine. What once overwhelmed you becomes manageable. And what once seemed impossible becomes just another victory. This is why it is essential to reframe your relationship with resistance. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, see it as proof that you are expanding. Instead of resenting it, respect it. Resistance is the gym where persistence builds your inner strength. The more you persist, the less intimidating resistance becomes. Eventually, you begin to welcome challenges because you understand that each one is shaping you, stretching you, and preparing you for the greater life you are destined to live. Persistence is not glamorous. It is often lonely, quiet, unseen. It looks like waking up early when no one else notices, trying again after another rejection, practicing when others are resting, continuing when progress feels invisible. But those hidden moments of persistence accumulate into breakthroughs. While others stop at the first wall, you keep pressing until the wall cracks. And then suddenly everyone sees the result and calls it success. But the real success was every act of persistence along the way. What resistance wants most is your surrender. The moment you stop, it wins. But the moment you persist, you win. Not only the battle in front of you, but the battle within you. Every time you persist, you reinforce to yourself that you are unstoppable, that you cannot be broken by circumstances, that you are greater than the challenges you face. That belief compounds, and with it, your power grows. The more you persist, the stronger you become, and the stronger you become, the less resistance can hold you. Everything in life is energy, and everything vibrates at a certain frequency. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, even the circumstances around you, they all operate on vibration. The key to becoming unstoppable lies in understanding and mastering this law. Most people believe their results are shaped by what happens outside of them. But in truth, the outer world is simply a mirror of the inner vibration they maintain. When you consistently carry thoughts of doubt, fear, limitation, and worry, you set yourself on a frequency that attracts experiences to match. But when you deliberately raise your vibration with belief, confidence, gratitude, and determination, you magnetize conditions that support your progress. The law of vibration doesn't choose sides. It simply responds to the signal you broadcast. If you want to live with the conviction that you cannot be stopped, you must tune your vibration to match that reality. Imagine your mind as a powerful transmitter. Every thought you hold consistently is like a signal being broadcast into the world. That signal attracts like energy back to you. It's not magic, it's alignment. People who constantly say, nothing works out for me, are not cursed. They are simply stuck in a vibration of failure, and life reflects it back to them. On the other hand, people who hold an unshakable belief that things will work out for them, even when the evidence doesn't show it, find that opportunities, solutions, and help us show up at the right time. It is their vibration that draws these outcomes. Your vibration is not controlled by what happens to you. It is controlled by how you choose to think about what happens to you. Two people can face the same setback, One sinks into despair, lowering their vibration, while the other sees it as a lesson, maintaining belief in their goal. The external event is the same, but the vibration they each carry determines the direction their life takes from that moment. When you choose to see yourself as unstoppable, when you choose thoughts that align with persistence, gratitude, and vision, you put yourself in harmony with growth and success, regardless of circumstances. Raising your vibration is not complicated, but it does require awareness. The first step is to notice how you feel, because feelings are the language of vibration. If you are anxious, frustrated, or doubtful, your vibration is low, and it will attract more of what you don't want. If you are calm, focused, and expectant of good, your vibration is high, and it will attract more of what you do want. Instead of letting moods control you, you must deliberately choose thoughts that elevate you. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways. When you focus on what's already good in your life, you shift your vibration instantly. Visualization is another tool. Seeing yourself already living the life you desire creates a vibration that begins to pull that reality toward you. Your environment plays a powerful role in this as well. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, the content you consume, all of these influence your vibration. If you surround yourself with negativity, gossip, and constant complaints, you cannot expect to hold a high vibration. If you immerse yourself in uplifting environments with people who believe in growth and with ideas that expand your mind, your vibration naturally rises. Being unstoppable means guarding your mental atmosphere carefully, treating it as the foundation of everything you experience. This law explains why two people with the same skills and resources can live completely different lives. One vibrates at a frequency of fear and limitation, constantly drawing problems, while the other vibrates at confidence and expectancy, drawing solutions and support. The circumstances may look the same at the start, but the vibration changes everything. That is why you must refuse to dwell on negativity, no matter how real it seems. By holding your mind steady on what you want, not on what you fear, you align with the vibration that calls your desires into form. There will be times when your vibration dips, when discouragement or setbacks hit you hard. That is natural, but the key is not to stay there. Recognize it, then shift it. Move your body, change your environment, speak words of faith, recall your vision. Do whatever it takes to lift yourself back into the frequency that matches who you want to be. Because the law of vibration is always active. You are always attracting something. The question is, are you attracting by default, allowing fear and doubt to dictate your frequency? Or are you attracting by design, deliberately choosing the vibration of persistence and certainty? When you live in harmony with this law, you no longer chase success. You attract it. You stop forcing and start flowing. The right people show up, the right doors open, and the right timing unfolds. It doesn't mean there won't be challenges, but your vibration ensures you interpret challenges as stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. You see setbacks not as defeats, but as part of the path. And because you hold the vibration of victory, you continue to move forward with confidence. Over time, this creates momentum so strong that nothing can stand in your way. Your vibration is the invisible foundation of your life. You cannot hide it. You cannot fake it. You cannot bypass it. If you carry fear, it shows in your actions. If you carry belief, it shows in your results. The moment you decide to deliberately live on a higher frequency, to guard your thoughts, to align your emotions, and to hold a vision of yourself as unstoppable, you begin to draw conditions that match that identity. Life meets you where you vibrate, and when you vibrate with certainty, persistence, and faith, nothing can prevent you from moving toward the life you desire. Success begins in the mind long before it ever shows up in the physical world. Everything that has ever been created, every building, every invention, every breakthrough existed first as an image in someone's imagination. That's why faith in the unseen is so powerful, because the unseen is not empty. It is the seabed of everything that is yet to come. The challenge most people face that they rely too heavily on their senses. If they cannot see it, touch it, or measure it, they assume it does not exist. But the truth is, the invisible world of thought, belief, and imagination is what shapes the visible world of results. To become unstoppable, you must learn to hold faith in the unseen, to see what your inner eye, what your outer eyes cannot yet detect. Faith is the ability to build the picture of your desired future in your mind and trust it, even when there is no evidence yet. This is not about wishful thinking. It is about aligning your belief so strongly with your vision that your actions, emotions, and habits all begin to support it. Most people let their current reality dictate their vision. They say, I'll believe it when I see it. But the truth is the opposite. You will see it when you believe it. If you look around and only trust what exists today, you stay trapped in what is. But when you hold faith in the unseen, you give yourself permission to live from what can be. There will always be a gap between your vision and your current reality. That gap is where faith does its work. If you abandon the vision just because it hasn't appeared yet, you collapse the process. Every dream requires a gestation period, just like a seed planted in the ground. You cannot dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You must trust that unseen growth is happening beneath the surface. Your job is to water it, nurture it, and hold the image in your mind until it manifests. Faith is the watering of your vision. It is the nourishment that sustains it in the unseen until it becomes seen. This is why so many people give up too soon. They mistake delay for denial. They say, if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it never will. But the unseen is always at work. The forces of life are rearranging circumstances aligning opportunities, preparing the path. You may not see it, but that does not mean it isn't happening. The person with faith understands that what they are seeking is already on its way. They do not need to know how or when. They only need to stay consistent in belief and action. That steadiness is what pulls the unseen into form. Faith in the unseen requires discipline of thought. It is easy to believe when things are going well, when evidence supports your vision. But real faith is tested when everything looks opposite to what you desire. That is when doubt tries to creep in, whispering that you are foolish for believing. That is when fear tells you to settle for less. That is when logic says to stop dreaming. And yet, if you can stand firm in the unseen during those times, you prove to yourself that your belief is stronger than your circumstances. You become the kind of person who is not swayed by appearances, because you know appearances are temporary while vision is eternal. Holding faith in the unseen is not passive. It is not about sitting still and waiting. It is active, alive, and demanding. When you believe in the vision, you act as though it were already true. You speak differently. You carry yourself differently. You make decisions that align with the future you are creating. You stop asking, can I? And begin declaring, I am. That alignment between thought, word, and action sends a powerful signal to life that you are serious, and life responds in kind. People begin to notice your confidence. Opportunities begin to recognize your readiness. Doors that were once closed begin to open. The unseen also calls you to stretch. Faith will always ask you to step in the unknown before you see the guarantee. You might not know where the money will come from, but faith tells you to take the first step. You might not know how the path will unfold, but faith tells you to walk anyway. That willingness to move without certainty is what separates those who stop from those who cannot be stopped. Because once you act with faith, the unseen begins to reveal itself. The resources appear, the guidance arrives, the connections show up, but they only appear after you take the step, not before. Every great achievement in history was created by someone who had faith in the unseen. They saw a possibility that no one else could see. They believed in an idea when the world laughed at them, doubted them, or ignored them. Their belief carried them through failure, through rejection, through years of invisibility, and eventually the unseen became visible. What once existed only in their mind became something the entire world could experience. That same power is within you. If you can build a picture in your mind and hold it with unwavering faith, it will eventually take form. Your senses will always try to trick you into thinking that reality is fixed, but reality is fluid, shaped by the unseen forces of belief and imagination. When you hold faith in the unseen, you are not ignoring reality. You are creating a higher one. You are choosing not to be limited by what is, because you understand that what is can change. You understand that life bends to the strongest vision, not the strongest doubt. And when your faith remains stronger than your circumstances, nothing can stop the unseen from becoming seen. Life is not designed to hand you everything easily. It is designed to shape you through the challenges it places in your path. Every time you encounter a difficulty, every time you feel resistance, every time you face a setback, you are being invited to grow. Challenges are not punishments. They are opportunities. They are the raw material life uses to mold you into someone stronger, wiser, more resilient, and more capable of carrying the weight of your dreams. The very obstacles you wish would disappear are often the exact tools being used to build your character. Without them, you would never develop the muscles of persistence, the discipline of consistency, or the courage of faith. When you begin to see challenges through this lens, everything changes. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this teaching me? That shift in perspective allows you to extract the lesson instead of being crushed by the experience. Growth always hides inside the difficulty, but most people never discover it because they are too focused on the pain. They stop too soon, give up too quickly, and miss the transformation that was waiting for them on the other side. But when you decide you will not be stopped, you make up your mind that every challenge, no matter how heavy, will serve your growth. Think about the way gold is refined. It must pass through fire to have its impurities burned away. The heat does not destroy the gold. It reveals its purity. In the same way, challenges that burns away your doubt, your fear, your hesitation, they reveal the strength that was already within you, the strength you didn't even know you had until you were tested. Without the fire, the gold remains hidden. Without the challenge, your greatness remains dormant. Growth requires that pressure, that stretch, and that discomfort. Because only in those moments are you forced to expand beyond the limits you have accepted for yourself. Every challenge has a dual purpose: to test your persistence and to expand your capacity. When things get difficult, the question life is asking you is simple. How badly do you want it? If you stop at the first sign of trouble, you signal that your desire was weak. But if you persist through failure, through rejection, through delay, you prove not only to life but to yourself that your desire is strong enough to withstand the storm. That proof builds confidence. You begin to trust yourself in a way you never did before. You begin to realize that you can handle more than you thought. And that realization becomes the foundation for even bigger dreams. It's important to understand that growth does not come in the comfort zone. Comfort feels safe, but it keeps you stagnant. The moment you step into something bigger than yourself, challenges arise to meet you there. They are not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you. Each obstacle is training you for the greater opportunities ahead. If you dream of success, you must also accept the weight of responsibility that comes with it. Challenges are the practice ground where you build the endurance, patience, and strength to hold that success when it arrives. Without that training, you would crumble under the very blessings you asked for. You can see this truth in every area of life. Athletes grow stronger only by pushing their bodies against resistance. Students grow wiser only by struggling with concepts they do not yet understand. Entrepreneurs grow wealthier only by solving problems that others could not solve. Growth is always tied to challenge. It cannot be separated because it is the friction that sparks the fire of expansion. The very fact that you are facing a challenge right now means that life believes you are ready for growth. The test would not be in front of you if you were not capable of handling it. The people who rise the highest are not the ones who avoid challenges, but the ones who embrace them. They see obstacles as stepping stones, each one elevating them closer to their vision. They understand that the pain of struggle is temporary, but the growth it creates is permanent. Every time you overcome one challenge, you carry the strength of that victory into the next. And eventually you begin to see that what once seemed impossible is now routine. What once made you tremble now makes you smile because you know you have outgrown it. That is the gift of growth through challenges. You evolve into a version of yourself that the old you could not even recognize. Even setbacks that seem devastating carry within them the seeds of growth. Failure teaches you resourcefulness, humility, and resilience in a way success never could. Rejection forces you to refine your vision, sharpen your skills, and elevate your standards. Loss deepens your appreciation, strengthens your empathy, and expands your capacity for gratitude. None of these lessons come easily, but they are priceless. They shape you into a person capable of creating a life far greater than the one you would have settled for if everything had been smooth. So when challenges come, welcome them as part of the process. They are not interruptions, they are the process. They are the curriculum of growth, the unseen teachers guiding you toward your highest potential. Each one asks you to rise, to adapt, to believe, and to persist. Each one stretches you beyond what you thought possible, and in doing so expands your reality. The question is not whether challenges will come, the question is how you will respond. Will you let them stop you, or will you let them grow you? The moment you decide that nothing will stop you, you transform every challenge from an enemy to an ally, every obstacle into a lesson, and every struggle into a stepping stone toward the life you are destined to create.